About a week ago, the Apple Vision Pro was announced, and it has just taken the world by storm. It is one of those products where it changes everything. The problem is everyone is missing this one thing. So make sure to stick around to the end of the video to find out what that is. Now, today we are doing an Amazon gift card giveaway. We're giving away a $50 and two $25 gift cards. Here's what you got to do to enter. Watch this video all the way to the end, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and in the comments below, tell me what you think of the Apple Vision Pro and put your Instagram handle exactly as it is. I'll message you if you win. So I remember back in the day when screens went from being small little black and white screens to being colored screens, and that was an amazing leap. And then all of a sudden in 2007, Apple announces the iPhone, a screen where you can actually interact with what's behind the glass. It was absolutely mind-blowing. This event, the Apple Vision Pro, is the same level of awe that I had back then in 2007 when I graduated high school to now in this Apple Vision Pro era with the spatial computing. It is absolutely mind-bendingly cool. So I've had my Vision Pro for a few days now, and it is an incredible feeling device. Let's talk about the physical design of this device. Like most Apple products, when you pick it up, it feels like real quality. It feels like a tank. Now, that does kind of affect some of the weight of this thing and how comfortable it is to wear for long periods of time, but when you pick it up, it doesn't feel like a toy. I've used other AR and VR devices, and they all kind of feel like a toy. This is the first device where I've used where it felt like a productivity machine. Just like the Apple Watch and the AirPods Max, it's got a crown on the top that when you press it and when you turn it, it just feels like really high quality. The woven band that holds it to your head, it just feels incredible to the touch. The dial to get it to tighten to your head, it doesn't feel like it's gonna loosen up over time or break in the process of you tightening it. It just feels really high quality. Even something as silly as the battery pack, it feels like a high quality battery pack. The cable on it is a woven cable. It plugs in, and when you click the plug in, it doesn't feel like something that's gonna break really quickly because there's so many devices out there that use cheap material to make their product. Apple does not skimp out on the quality of the material of their products. Now, that's why it's so expensive. This thing is outrageously expensive. We'll get into the price later, but if you're paying that money, you wanna make sure that you have something that feels really good in the hand, and the Vision Pro does. The Vision Pro has speakers on the side, and for the size of the speakers, I thought they would not sound very good, but I was really pleasantly surprised with how good these speakers sound. You feel, when you're wearing the headset, you don't feel like you're kind of compressed in because your ears are free, and it just, man, it really does feel like the space around you becomes this soundscape. I've watched a couple movies on it, and I've watched a couple of the Apple-produced videos on it, and the spatial audio and all that kind of stuff. It's just really, really cool to feel immersed, not just visually, but with the audio as well. Next, let's talk about the quality of the cameras. This has 12 cameras on it with sensors all around them. It is a really, really incredible tech product. However, this is one of the areas where the Vision Pro is lacking. When you use the pass-through on the Vision Pro, if it's not like perfectly well lit, there is a lot of noise in the image just because it's boosting its ISO up, which is just putting more electricity through the sensor on these cameras. It just makes it really noisy, and it really does break that kind of augmented reality feel where you're kind of looking through a glass. It really does look like you're looking at a camera and you're seeing it through a screen. Now, when you're outside, it's pretty good, and when you're walking with it on, it jitters just a little bit, but it's not too distracting. But once you get into low light in your house, I've got some footage of it that I'll put on the screen, but once you're in your house in low light, it is really, really noticeable when you're walking how much stuff jitters and it shakes, and it makes the tracking a little bit weird as well. But when that noise is there, it really does kind of break the whole illusion. Now, that being said, this is still an incredible, incredible device. Like, it's something I've never experienced in my life. And so, again, I've used the Quest, I've used different AR, VR glasses and all that kind of stuff. This is the absolute best implementation that I've ever seen. And as time goes on, Apple is going to make these cameras that much better over and over. It's going to get so much better. So it's an exciting moment to kind of see where stuff is at with the cameras now, but I am so excited for the next 10 years of what this will look like eventually. So let's talk about the software on this device. This is one of the areas where it does kind of get held back a little bit because companies are not seeing this as something that's going to be widely accepted right now. And so maybe they're going to take some time to get their software up to date, but it really does kind of feel like it's lacking. Now, when you're using the Apple produced apps, it feels awesome. It feels incredible. But it just, you don't have a ton of options on stuff that you really use all the time on your phone and all that kind of stuff. So that's as far as apps go, but the software of it spatially computing, of putting a window up on a wall and it's staying there, you walking away somewhere and it coming back and it remembers where you put that thing exactly in the same space that you left it. That is mind-blowing. It really feels like you're in Minority Report or some future movie where it's the craziest thing I've ever experienced. Now let's talk about the price real quick. Obviously, that's kind of the biggest thing holding this device back. It is $3,500 for the base model. That is so much money. Now, the one kind of justification I can possibly wrap my mind around is if you're buying this, you're probably not buying a laptop and you're probably not buying a screen. You know, a good screen is like 800 bucks. A good laptop is going to be like $2,000. And so if you're putting those things together, you're getting close to it, then you're also not having to buy a big screen TV if you're single. Problem is, if you have a family, this really does not work. And when you give the device to somebody else, it takes a process of setup. And so I had my son try to use this after me, and for him, he's 8 years old, it was really difficult for him to figure out how to get this thing to work for him. And so I don't recommend putting a $3,500 device on an 8-year-old kid. We had him sit in the middle of my bed so that if anything went wrong, it would just fall on the bed. But at that price point, to have it for an individual person, it is a lot. But I mean, again, like I said, if you're buying a laptop, you're buying a screen, that can be somewhat justified, but not entirely. And then the other big issue is when you're upgrading, I mean, you're getting up into the $4,500 range. If you have to buy multiple of these for your family or for your company, it is going to be an outrageous price tag. But again, it's because this is a first-generation product. As time goes on, Apple will be able to get this product's price down because they'll either make simpler versions or that technology will be more and more cost-efficient. And so maybe sensors won't be as much or the cameras won't be as much. And yeah, maybe the quality will be a little bit different, but that price tag, say it comes down to $1,500. If this was $1,500, man, it would be an absolute no-brainer. Go out and purchase it right now. But at $3,500, I would say hold off. So what is everybody missing about this device? I've seen all the reviews out there, and people are talking so much about the augmented reality. And I get it. It is an augmented reality device, but that to me is not the most valuable capability of this device. Yes, it is a great augmented reality thing. That's cool. Yes, it's a great entertainment device. That's cool. But this is primarily, and this is in my mind, primarily a distraction-free productivity machine. People are willing to pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to go and get away for a weekend so that they can be super productive. Now, this is not your average person, but this device is not for your average person. But I think of I've heard of writers who would purchase plane tickets for like $6,000 to go all the way across the world and then come all the way back so that they can work on their book for the duration of that flight. And hopefully by the time they come home, they have a completed book. Now that's $5 or $6 grand on a one-time event. But what if you spent the $3,500 for a distraction-free writing experience on this device? I've been very vocal about how much I love a markdown writing experience. I love apps like Ulysses or like Bear. Ulysses, if you get an app on this thing, it is going to blow the writing world out of the water. I tried this with Bear, which I don't like as much as I like Ulysses, but being able to write in a full distraction-free window and then around you is just this beautiful snowscape. I mean, imagine somebody who's writing a script, writing in the location for where they want to write. It would help produce so much more creativity. I mean, think about this, like the next J.K. Rowling is out there, the next J.R.R. Tolkien is out there, and if they get this kind of device where it's completely distraction-free, I would be so excited to see what kind of creative landscapes and creative stories they come up with. So not only that, think about the high-level businessman that has to make really difficult decisions, and he's in the work environment, it's stressful, he's in his office. What if you could get away to a secluded beach just for an hour? Yes, this device is heavy, so you're not going to want to wear it all day, but what if you could get away for an hour where you have AirPods in, you get the spatial sound of the beach, and you got in front of you just a blank sheet of paper for you to get your work done? I'm telling you, I know a lot of businessmen who would value this device so much just to be distraction-free and be able to get their work done. A lot of the people reviewing this product that I've seen don't have kids. to be able to, and this is not for all the time, but to be able to tune out your kids if you're at home in your work environment for just a little bit, not all the time, like I said, because that's extremely unhealthy. You don't want your kids to grow up with their dad living in a VR headset. What a weird, gross world that would be. But to be able to drown out that sound and just get some work done, maybe for an hour, maybe for an hour or two, it would be so incredibly helpful for the working person working from home that still has young ones at their house. So what sets the Apple Vision Pro for me is just how distraction-free your productive environment can be. You can get so much work done on this thing. So for me, I think this is the future for people who really want to be as productive as possible in the least amount of time as possible. So is the Apple Vision Pro a gimmick? I don't think so. Do other devices come close at a fraction of a price? I also don't think so. It is a completely different experience. Those other devices are good, but this is just different. So like I said at the beginning of the video, let me know in the comments below how you feel about the Vision Pro. Include your Instagram handle to enter into the giveaway. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you all in the next one.